such an asshole.
We have what I believe will be an interesting request. I haven't read through the article yet. This comes from, let's just do anonymous. Good afternoon, Aaron. I was watching your video, Never Help Boomers with Retirement, and you made a comment that young people should be asking the boomer generation, where's the fucking money? Not from an inheriting standpoint. Just so you know, I don't believe anyone is entitled to other people's money. Other people could do with their wealth whatever they may seem fit. That's their money, their time, they exchange into money. My question from that standpoint was, we give the elder generations, because this is going to continue. It's going to be my right now. You Zoomers, you're paying in my Social Security account. I mean, I don't get it yet, but I made the point. You get 15% of everybody's fucking money into your Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid account. And the boomers, I think it's only like a third have enough to retire. I'm like, where's the fucking money? Where'd it go? How do you, with the biggest asset bubbles in all of it, how do you not have any money? And just for you kind, hardworking Zoomers, millennials, and soon-to-be alphas, old Cappy takes his money very seriously. I would end Social Security in half a second, even though I'm closer to collecting it than contributing to it, because it's enslaving younger generations. That's it. That's all it is. Come on, baby, light my fire. So that's what I was asking. It reminded me of this article that details how the great wealth transfer might not actually happen and how badly millennials and Gen Z are banking on getting that money to cover financial shortfalls. Oh my God. Are you actually relying on the generation that told you to follow your heart? And are you relying on the generation that gave you the worst advice about everything? Literally everything? Is that your plan? I kind of made fun of it before. Maybe I just never expected, because I was brought up by boomers. We were poor. Then we were middle income for a while. Then I went back to being poor because I had to go to college. We didn't have any money. We just looked like we were middle income. Anyway, I've never expected money from the boomers because there wasn't any to have. I looked like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. The teachers are all wrong. The professors are all wrong. The adults are wrong. The parents are wrong. You're all wrong. Every single motherfucking one of you is wrong. And the fuck if I think you're going to have any money. I don't know. Maybe that's just like, what was it? I learned early on, no one is coming to save you. And so I guess I saw like, oh, I can't wait for the boomers. We're all rich. Yes, the boomers as a group, yes, they have the majority of the money. A lot of people find that unfair. It's like, no, they're the eldest. They should have most of the money. That's how it goes. When you are the eldest generation, you will have the lion's share of the wealth. They've been around, but when you take the median, you look like, yeah, the majority of boomers didn't save up enough money for retirement, even with life on tiggle-bitted, cute little white girl from the suburbs, daddy little princess Canada easy mode. They still weren't able to save up the money. But millennials and Zers, if you're waiting on like, yeah, my parents are going to die and I'm going to get the house. Let me explain to you how this works. Do your parents actually own the house outright? Because I'm going to bet in the majority, if that's your plan, you better find out what kind of debts they have. Because when your parents die, which, by the way, they're not going to both die at the same time, and the estate is cleanly passed on to you, one is going to still be alive for a while. And if I know my come on, baby, light my fires people, they're not going to work, and they're going to suck up all that income. They're going to take all the assets as much as they can. Maybe not even intentionally or consciously or maliciously, because they're getting old and they're going to need health care. I don't know exactly how much money's going to be left. And I don't know if you Zoomers and millennials have heard of this. There's a thing called a reverse mortgage. They started coming out with advertisements of those 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even, where if you're an older person and you have a house and not much else, because that's the majority of Americans nowadays. I don't even own a house. Yes. Okay. I mean, older people. If they don't want to work, because come on, baby, light my fire. Work. Work. What are we? Republicans from the 1950s? Work. Uh, they could just take money out of their house up to a certain point and increase the debt that is owed on the house. And so then there is gonna happen. It is gonna happen to a bunch of financially ignorant Zoomer millennial types, even Gen X. We're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get me that money. I'm gonna give me that baby boomer. My parents are gonna die. Gonna give me that money. They got a house. I'm gonna get a house." And you find out there's an 85% mortgage on it, and the payment is $300 $3,000 a month, and you don't have no job because you listen to "Come On Baby, Light My Fire, Follow Heart, Money Follow, Any Degree, Good Degree." I'm entitled. Surprise! You can't afford the mortgage, and it would probably be reset at higher interest rates. Again, I'm just learning this as I go through estate planning now, but you might inherit your parents' home, but I'm pretty sure with a new borrower, which would be you, like they'd say, okay, you could sell the house, pay off the mortgage, um, and then you get whatever $100,000 that's left, or you can assume the mortgage maybe and keep the low interest rate. But I don't know, I'm not a mortgage expert. There may be an instance where okay, there's a 85%, 2.8% mortgage on it. You're like, oh, finally, it's my time. And they're like, yeah, see, but the title's going to transfer, so you can't assume the mortgage, and the bank's going to insist that you refinance at 8%. And then you'll be cursing at the baby boomers even more. Curse you, Space Dandy. No one's going to get that one. So let's read this. This is from Canada Yahoo Finance. He continues. I'll read I'll finish his email here. It looks like the money is gone pretty much except for the super rich. I know in my case, I will most likely inherit about 6 acres of land and a moderately maintained house when my parents die. That's still better than average. That's good. At least they will be debt free except for the funeral, which life insurance should cover. So let's go to the article here. The great wealth transfer is set to be a $90 trillion disappointment, especially for millennials. Turns out that all the young adults might be inheriting nothing more than their parents' tendency to fall asleep while watching TV or walk 5 feet ahead of their children on a family vacation. Quirks are easy, but getting money passed down seems to be a different and much trickier story. Murmurs of the great wealth transfer have been around for some time now, as many Americans anticipate an inheritance from older relatives. The silent generation and baby boomers account for a greater share of the nation's wealth than their younger counterparts, leaving more financially insecure generations waiting for a 90 trillion windfall. Now I'm going to stop right here. Just so you know, if you're wondering what the solution is, what was the solution, what should you have been told, and what is the solution now, forevermore will be the solution. You have to work for a living. There you go. Only you and your labor is going to get you out of this. I understand employment is not fair. I understand. All that is true. It still doesn't change the fact the only way out of this is you're going to have to make your own money. That's it. That's it. The biggest lie the baby boomers told to you is that you didn't have to work for a living. That's why you're so pissed off. Just to really simplify it, boil down, you were told that you didn't have to work for a living. My parents told me I could work. They didn't say that. Okay, what they told you was you could do whatever you want and the money would follow. They told you the lie that somewhere out there was a job that you'd enjoy. If you don't work, if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. Yeah, and you'll be piss poor for the entire time. That was the big lie. In other words, no, you really didn't have to work for a living. The quickest way out of, and you can howl at the moon and get pissed off and shake your fist at the baby boomers. And I agree with you. I agree. You were lied to. That doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, like just to get a girl, you got to go to the gym. At the end of the day, if you want financial stability, you're going to have to work for it. And you're going to have to work a real job that you don't like. You're going to have to do something that is hard, distasteful, combination of both, or long. That's where you make the money. I don't know. Do we need another generation of young people going and majoring in horseshit studies and getting into debt to figure out the boomers lied? But it wasn't the boomers, it was Gen Xers. The young people, look, you young people have to largely stop listening to Democrat adults. You need to stop listening to leftist parents and leftist adults. They are children masked in adult form. They don't know what they're doing. Their advice is horrible. I'm not saying you go vote Republican and get on the Trump train. I'm not saying that either. You need to stop listening to the basically parenting abdication lie where they abdicate any real parental responsibility, telling how the real world works. The lie that somehow there's a job out there, there's a career out there for you where you don't work, you enjoy it, and you make six figures. That is a lie. That is why we're in all the financial troubles largely come from that lie. Imagine if you all became engineers or train conductors or tradesmen or carpenters. Oh my God, you'd have housing and things would work and I'm not going to go into it. But just and now it's like, oops, we spent it on a vote. We're RV, YOLO. Now the boomers are doing YOLO, YOLO. So I'm all here in the Sturgis rally driving their RVs that are $250,000 each, and they're going to put a whopping 3,000 miles on it. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. It can end. It can all end. And I'm waiting on Generation Alpha. They realize, hey, we're the only ones going to get out of this. But I know you're angry. I know you're financially insecure, but just to let you know. And then the solution the boomers gave you, you still subscribe to that. More free shit, bailout government, do something. Anybody but me, do something. I don't know. You want to be poor for the second half of your life too? Not saying you're going to be wealthy, but do you okay, you follow hear me out. Millennials, lend me your ears. And Zoomers, pay attention. Alpha, you really pay attention. For all your life, millennials, the first half of your life expectancy, your entire youth, you listened and did exactly what the boomers told you to do. All right? And it was largely leftist horseshit politics. You could get something for nothing. Society owed you a living and you could follow your heart. All right? Generally leftist ideas. The solutions you're requiring now is what? Same boomer horseshit leftist socialist ideas. Government bail us out. Somebody, not me, do something. Do you think it's going to work? It destroyed and wasted your entire generation, your entire youth. Do you think it's going to work this time in the second half of the game? Again, not saying we all become card-carrying Republicans, but Jesus Christ, where did you think we're all going to be journalism majors? Where did you think that was going to end up? Oh my God, you're that race and that gender, and you like to lick that genitalia, and you have this mental disorder. Celebrate! Print off more money and celebrate! Who's making the food? Why don't we have housing? Let's get rid of the cops while we're at it, because I don't like laws. Because I'm edgy, yo. Why is the place burning down? Why are things so expensive? Why is Walmart not open anymore? The Scooby-Doo mystery. All right, let's continue on as to why you're not going to get a penny from your boomer parents. The silent generation baby boomers, leaving the more financially insecure generations waiting for a $90 trillion windfall. That much money changing hands could create an unprecedented change in household wealth in the nation as a whole. Yeah, if it happened overnight, it's not. Boomers are going to live another 10, 15, 20 years, and they're going to take most of their wealth with them. Younger adults might be expecting a bigger check than boomers can cash. The great wealth transfer might be more of a ripple than a wave, finds Northwest Mutual, an ITS Harris Poll survey of more than 4,500 adults. The insurance company found a considerable gap between what Gen Z and millennials think is coming and what the relatives actually report is in store. Already, the boomers have just begun withdrawing the money and the retirement savings to keep themselves alive. And already there's not enough for what people are expecting. While 32% of millennials and 38% of Gen Z expect an inheritance, only 22% of Gen Xers and boomers report planning to give on giving one. 1 in 5. 80%. That's what I was never expecting any kind of inheritance. 80%. 80% of and then now they're throwing my generation in there. 80% of Xers and, boomers aren't gonna leave an inheritance. And I'll be honest, I don't think it's because of malice, like, "We're gonna teach those youngins." They don't have the money because they were, "Come on, baby, lighten my fire," and granite countertops. 80 degrees, a good degree. This is the most stupid part of American history, and I'm here to witness all of it. This is great. You know, this is the Canadian writing. Part of what's happening is that people have a greater life expectancy, chipping away at their nest egg and at times outliving it. The older generation is living longer. By the time they are bequeathing assets at their death, they are in their 80s, 90s, or beyond. At that point, the children would be well into their own retirement season in life. Justin Neal, CEO, private partner, wealth advisor. At that point, the subsequent generation may be in reasonably stable financial situations and at an age where inheritance will have less substantial impact than following generations who are still wrestling with education costs, down payment on homes, and career instability, he added. Not if you guys keep doing this government come bail us out. You will never see. At least I'll defend the boomers on one thing. At least they got slapped across the face, woken the fuck up by the late 70s, okay, by the stagflation era, and they adulted the fuck up and got on with the 80s, said, "Oh, we gotta work for a living." And all that fun stuff you all fondly remember of the 80s and the 90s was largely afforded to you by baby boomer work. In one defense of the baby boomers, I'll do. One. We're still again, I can't wait to see how you millennials vote. And not in the presidential election. I wanna see more because I know Trump is not a tasteful candidate. I wanna see what happens at your representatives in your Congress. Are you gonna vote for the adults? Or are you gonna vote for boomer version 3.0? But as it stand, many are banking on an inheritance to dig them out of their dire straits or set them up for financial comfort down the road. Half respondents across all generations regard the potential windfall as highly critical or critical to their long-term financial security. Anybody but you getting off your fucking ass and getting a job, right? Man, they trained you good. What? Just think about that. What if we all don't work? What if it's always somebody else, not me? What if we all have that mentality? What if we're all Democrats? Somebody, not me, better support me. Where do you think anything gets produced? And just so you know, just like the baby boomers, we're running out of money. It's not really money we run off. We can always print that off. We're running out of production because you all think you're entitled to free food, clothing, and shelter. And that's those, when you don't have those things, those are the things that motivate people the most to produce. Produce what? Food, clothing, and shelter. And oh my God, we got a production miracle. Critical or very critical? What? You're relying on the boomers for financial bailouts and stability? When do you wake up and like, hey, maybe God, no one is going to save me. I got to do it when do you wake up? When do you say, I am going to die in the same amount of time I've been alive? I better make the last half count. When don't you like your life? Man. The ever shifting predictions of the great wealth transfer are not just a story of older generations living longer. It's also about rich people accounting for their money in different ways. Now it's not just about passing finances on after one passes. Many families want to use their wealth and influence to improve life experience of the children prior to passing away, said Neal. Well, yeah, you could save taxes that way. It's a tax issue too. Yeah. Many families of means have children who are also fairly wealthy, either due to personal efforts or gifts received during their lifetimes, explained Neal. Yeah, because you want to avoid the estate tax. Going on to say that he coaches those wealth creators to not increase the tax burden by pointing their wealth to heirs who already have strong balance sheets. It's their money. They could give it to whoever they want. Funnily enough, younger generations are really looking to set their children or potential kids up with a gift, or those expecting to leave an inheritance. 81% of millennials and 75% of Gen Z are saying leaving something behind is the single most important or very important financial aspiration. That's compared to 65% of Gen Xers and 46% of boomers. I thought Gen X would be fuck you, 0%. Not leaving any of you fuckers nothing. Boomers, 46%. Oh, probably because the boomers don't have the money. You know what? I think that's more of a you haven't spent enough time with humans yet. Like, after you Zoomers and millennials are still like, "Good people are just good all over." What do you mean an illegal immigrant took my car? Well, people are just great all over. What do you mean stabbing? Then when you get older, you realize most people are assholes. You're like, fuck these people. I'm not leaving them anything. Again, I'm surprised 65% of Gen Xers are leaving anyone. We should have been way more acerbic and pissed off. The hell is wrong with you, Gen Xers? We'd be 0%. Fuck you. I'm converting all my estate into cash and having it burnt upon my death. Nobody gets nothing. Yeah, don't worry. You kids will get out of that idealism. You still believe you could follow your heart and the money will follow. You still think your political science degree is going to get you a job. You believe a lot of bullshit. Believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny too? Hey, maybe socialism will work this time. Maybe you girls will get men to like fat women because it's just a social construct. I'm going to leave money for the future generations. Oh. Millennials might be the most disappointed by the foot dropping on the great wealth transfer. That's because they're especially dependent upon the gift, at 59% saying the inheritance is critical or highly critical in their security, and Gen Z expects it to impact their retirement the most. This generation expects the gift would cover the largest bulk of the retirement funds at 10%. Hey, but wait a minute, but you Zoomers and millennials like taxes, right? You like taxing, tax rich, right? Tax, we gotta get that inheritance tax up. Well, then where's the money gonna come from if you're gonna tax it? I would love it. Now, I don't know what the cap is in Canada, but in the United States, I think it's 2.5 million. I'd love it if you had some spoiled Zoomer millennial expecting the, dead, and then they gotta pay an estate tax on a $5 million inheritance. What? Did you vote Democrat? Hey, you'd have money if you stopped voting Democrat. Just pointing that out. You'd have more of it. A separate report of proprietary data from more than 52,500 people by estate planning company Trust and Will found a third of millennials don't know if their parents have estate plans in place, and 13% reportedly are aware their parents don't have a trust or will. The generation known for its lack of luck. No. Well, okay, they were born into a bad situation. I'll grant you that. Had a long and recession-marred road to building wealth and are still finding certain milestones like owning a house to be a larger hurdle than expected. That's the classic case of you're getting yourself out of this. You all should start becoming carpenters or plumbers or tradesmen so you can build housing. No, you're still going to make your master's in public health administration. Try to make that a goal. Okay, fine. All right. All right. Of course, if the great wealth transfer does end up being as monumental as some reports say, then some privileged millennials stand to have a drastic Cinderella story in store. The wealth transfer is poised to make millennials the richest generation in history, according to Knight Frank's 2024 wealth report. But taking into account changing life expectancies and other life factors, that dream might not be fully realized. Here's another thing that they didn't talk about, not to criticize the author of this article. What about inflation? Like, great, you inherit 800,000 30 years from now. Is that going to be anything? Because you just can't print off enough money because we need more welfare. We need to pay for everybody's everything. Why are people working? Where's the food? I got the switch right here. Only you could prevent forest fires, and only you can get yourself out of the financial circumstances you're in. And that's not even guarantee you're going to get out. And granted, it's hard. But sitting around, that's been your strategy, right? This entire time. Sit around, wait for somebody else to bail you out. Sit around and wait for luck and fortune just to turn and happen upon you. How is that working? It's not, because that's not how the real world works. You need to go out there and tame nature and carve yourself a life out of reality. And that means providing people something of value, which usually means doing shit jobs people don't want to do, or hard jobs that require a lot of math and labor and rigor and toil and studying. The idea, the idea that you guys could actually make money on liberal arts degrees and social science degrees, that is just fucking hilarious. I'm gonna study philosophy. I'm gonna study women's studies. I'm gonna study history. Fucking mad? I guess we're doubling down on this strategy of not, don't buddy get up off their ass and do nothing. Don't anyone dare, and God Almighty, don't ever do anything that might give your life value. For God's sake, don't do anything productive or accomplishing. Sit around and wait. My God. I mean, there is a point when you get old enough where the work has value unto itself, where you're not afraid of work. You don't hate work because you find out, well, what else would I do? And not to say you probably scale back a bit and work 20 hours a week, or maybe, after you busted your ass off in a job you really didn't like, you go do some a little bit more fun or not as painful, like bartending. Inevitably, you're like, oh yeah, this is the point and purpose of life. Not necessarily to work, but to do something. All right. Hell yeah, America. 20 generous dollars. I'm 32 and I was told by my parents to find trade, work, and save as much as possible. Awesome. Yeah, good folks. I invest my money knowing Social Security and Medicare won't be a thing. There's a lack of discipline, conviction, and work and ethic in my generation. Yes. Again, both generations are responsible. The boomers lied to you, and you guys are lazy sacks of shit. Now, the boomers didn't teach you work ethic. I'll grant you that. That still doesn't change the fact, not you got work ethic. Your parents teach you to. Fine. You weren't taught a work ethic. You better go fucking get one now. Simple things like not showing up on time, not showing up at all, not doing your job. I got a mental disorder. I can't possibly work. Knock it the fuck off, or you're all going to starve. There's Campy doing his victory on the world burning down dance. Yeah, I told you. Doing butter churn as the world burns. Told you it was going to burn. Kids all fucked up now. Kids are going to pay the price. Told you not to do it. Look out. Doing my Cappy dance. Here we go. I do the water sprinkler, but I'd hit the microphone out of the way. Thanks for $20. Hell yeah, America. WisDivision Productions, $2. Where's the money, Boomer Lebowski? Cynic in chief, van life man extraordinaire. The great wealth transfer will be to cruise lines, reverse mortgage companies, hospitals, nursing homes, and QVC subs. See, if you're savvy, you would go work in these fields. Or you could invest in nursing homes and things like that. I'm still like, why? Okay, housing is the number one expense in your life. Why don't you all? There should be a flood of people trying to become contractors. And by the way, contractors are not stiff competition. Bunch of alcoholics, system fucking meth. I mean, they're completely unreliable. If you just showed up, did your job right, go Dumbass Contractors, Scott Wilson on YouTube. Look him up. Take in his videos. Figure out how to become a contractor. Then, oh my God, I was able to build my house for really cheap. Generation Apollo, $5. I like classic cars, but only boomers would spend $50,000 to $70,000 on a '57 Chevy that probably cost $5,000 when it was new. Not even that. And here's the thing: I do believe the classic cars are going to come down a lot in price because it's peak. It's peak. Who's going to buy them? Really, who's going to buy them? They're a pain in the ass maintain. Most Zoomers and millennials, not most, but the highest percent of generations of Americans ever that are disinterested in cars are the boomers and millennials. And not necessarily wrong. Like, yeah, why? If you don't need a car, why would you can bike or live in a city? I can understand that choice and lifestyle. Who's going to keep a classic car? Where are they going to keep it without a garage? JJJS, 2 Canadian. NPCs vote for more shit in the streets or sunny beaches? Umbrellas? Yeah, NPCs just vote to be popular, and then they wonder why all the crime and cost and inflation. I'm so done worrying. Like, yeah, okay, it's too bad you can't afford food. You should vote for more Democrats. Vote for more free shit. See what happens to the food. Wisdom Vision Productions, $2. We're living in a live action South Park episode. That we are. That we are. Jeremy Rivera, $2. Don't need dead boomer cash if you're a minimalist. Absolutely. And link below. The minimalism course is closed. That closed yesterday. But it's kind of like sister companion course called Achieving Financial Excellence, which teaches you the real point and purpose of money. So, yes, the number one thing to get you out of this situation, young people, is you're going to have to work and work a hard job nobody else wants to do. That's the quickest way out of this mess. Running concurrently to that is please do not make the fucking mistake that boomers and Gen Xers made where they need come on baby light my fire, McMansions, McSuburbs, SUVs, and all this other worthless, expensive horse shit that never made a single one of them happy. And all it did was make them debt slaves. Know what the real point and purpose of money is. And if you don't, and you don't know how it's evolving and changing, take the course Achieving Financial Excellence. It teaches you the real role money should play in your life. I'd say that's the very first course of mine you should take before you worry about 401ks, IRAs, because you need to know, what's the overall main point and purpose that money serves in my life and retirement? What role? Because the less money you need, the less boomer dick you got to suck. Here, there's someone write that quote down. That's another good quote. Someone time mark it in the comments section. Mark Bodyman, $5. Hey, I'm an auto body tech, collision work, and our industry has crashed. We get 90% insurance work, and they've stopped sending cars despite a backup. Mark, can you email me why? I want to know about that. That's macabre economic shit, man. That's bad. That's something like, what's going on there? Can you okay, I'm an auto body tech collision work, and our industry has crashed. We get 90% insurance work, and they have stopped sending us cars despite a backup. So our insurance companies, this is why I need you to email me. So insurance companies aren't paying out. They're trying to chintz their policyholders, and they're not sending the work to you, or the cars nowadays so over-engineered that you just wipe them out. They got to go buy a new car. Or there's something going on with the Mark, please email assholeconsulting.com. Send me an email. Let me know what's going on. Have stopped sending cars despite a backup. So there's a backup of cars that need repairing, but they're not paying. It wouldn't surprise me if the insurance company's got some NBA dude, bro. Hey, bro, we're going to be like American Family Insurance, and they're a shit insurance firm. Never fucking go with them. And, like, we'll charge them premiums, we'll take the money, and then when something bad happens, we just won't pay out, bro. Ha, 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 ha. Syndicate Chief, $5. I already have more wealth than my parents. My niece and nephew are more likely to get an inheritance than me from their grandparents. See, I have a problem. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I like my nieces and nephews, but I'm not stupid. I mean, are they all going to grow up and get jobs and be hardworking, contributing members of society? Or how many of them are going to end up having purple hair? And, oh, daddy, I think I'm a tree sexual. So you got to wait until they're 30 to figure out, like, hey, I'm not going to give you money if you just vote to take all my money away and you're going to go, protest the existence of cops. You're going to vote that you can basically, it's going to be like this. You could choose family, or you could choose the government as your family. If you choose the government as the family, you're already getting my money. I'm paying taxes. Okay, there's your inheritance through taxes. All right? Or you could choose family and be here and form relationships. It's up to the individual. But if you're going to go with the government, well, then there's your inheritance. I paid the taxes. And then I'll give my money to someone who actually has a soul. Actually maybe cares about their fellow man. So I'm real reluctant to pass on money. I mean, I'm not giving money to people who didn't earn it. I don't have that much. It's kind of funny where I got some nice things, like my artwork, but no one wants my artwork. Motorcycle jacket. That means a lot to me, but I'll be dead. Who wants to use motorcycle jacket with all these patches that don't mean nothing to them? The guns, I kind of like, okay, I know a guy each get the gun. And then the money, it's like, actually, there's not that much. I mean, there's the house that goes to the GF. But the money, which isn't that much, like, okay, well, here you go. It's not going to change your life. That soft water heater, boy, that's where the money is. That soft water heater. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field. Nothing like a good old inheritance to get everyone to fight. Yes, yes. Delete each other. My grandfather was almost deleted by one of his brothers in the late 60s for just 10 hectares of land. Shaking my damn head. Absolutely. That's why you need to have a will and trust very clearly. And it's another reason to don't wait till you're dead to pass on your estate. Not only do you save taxes, you absolve any kind of infighting about that money. Like, no, I just gave all the money quietly to your older brother because he's not a fucking pothead. Or I gave this to the nephew because that's the only one of you worthless pieces of shit that has a job. Don't tell him I gave you this. You just shut the fuck up. And then you pass away and they go to raid your bank account. And there's like $3.87. Like, where's the money? I don't know. And then the one nephew or niece that actually didn't have their head up their ass is off there, like, buying a piece of property overseas, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just renting an Airbnb out here all the time as if I own it." And that's another thing you'll find out where humans are just despicable and be like, "Yeah, maybe I shouldn't leave money to people," is how many people gotta fight over the fucking money when someone died. Shows you the true color of people. It really does. People are fucking assholes. They're just fucking assholes. The plaintiff, $5. My grandpa dying and having millions in his estate destroyed my family. Constant fighting. Yep. Yep. There's nothing to fight over in my family, really. There'll be some remnant something. I mean, I might get a car. There might be a used car in it for me. Like, used car. Okay. It's not bad. But if I have to fight with siblings and nephews and I'm sorry, cousins or uh, I guess aunts and uncles, it's not worth it. I got my own fucking money. I'm a minimalist. I don't need the fucking car or whatever inheritance might be. No, you guys fight over it. It's not worth. I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna go hike. I got shit going on. Alex Patino, a truck driver Latino. Hey, Alex, I'm not joking though, because you got family and you're a truck driver. You really ought to be looking at life insurance and having some kind of estate set up for your kids. You really got to do that. Just to make it easy on them. I wish you were in South Dakota because I could recommend you my guy, but just do that so there's no fighting or anything like that. My grandpa did give each of his kids their inheritance as soon as they became adults. He left us in 2018. Oh, good for him. He sounds like a good guy. Sounds like a productive. Sounds like he did something with his life instead of Daniel Wheeler, $5. A potential debt market collapse would ruin the boomers' pensions and Social Security. I hope people are diversified as much as they can be. I am. I'm diversified. Playa. Ooh, yes, some things would go down in value. Like my IRAs would go down in value, but crypto and silver and bullets, and like I don't need money, and then like my 2.8% mortgage. Oh, it's like the Joker when Batman's attacking. Come on. Whichever way you want to go, whichever way the economy wants to go, I'm ready. All right, there you go. Link to all my shit below. Oh no, link below. Resources for people, millennials, Zoomers, Gen Xers, whatever. But to help you out, how not to become a millennial. Okay, please go get that book, especially millennials and you Zoomers, so you know what the fuck just happened to you. You understand how it largely isn't your fault, but now it's stop the sobbing and looking at your belly button time, and you got to go make the second half count in this game. There's also achieving financial excellence. No one is coming to save you. No one. You cannot rely on anyone or inheritance or the government. You are going to save yourself. And the quickest way to do that is to know the exact role that money plays in your life. Not what the fucking corporations tell you it is, which is a brand new car at 14%. And then I don't know what the third thing is. The third thing linked below. For those of you who are looking for a job that isn't going to require you to go to college again, or maybe you go back to college a little bit, please look into accounting. A lot of people asking me in chat about careers in accounting. Accounting is I'm not saying it's the best career ever, but it seems to have a lot of upsides to it, especially in today's environment. It's one of the quickest jobs that you can become self-employed. You still are going to have to do 2 to 3 years work for somebody else, but people need tax accountants, so that's something you can do to be self-employed. It also lends itself very well to remote work, and it doesn't require a ridiculous amount of education to go and get into it. So there's a course link below. It's a very helpful option, very helpful tool if you seem to think that accounting might be for you. Take a look at it. The world's greatest accounting career. It's available on Teachable. It's $150, says the person who just spent $180 on a college textbook called Female Marxist Vagina and the Hatred of Men for your mandatory women's studies class in your journalism degree that cost you $100,000. All right, that's it. Everything linked below. See you guys later, Toodles.